Hey you guys. So I just want to get on here tonight and talk about this Ring of Fire solar eclipse that we've seen around the world a little bit here. And I didn't know that this was actually coming about until I seen it on my YouTube page, on the news part. But I thought it was just really, really interesting. And I wanted to touch topic on it because um, this is very important because these type of things like solar eclipses and stuff are signs from the Most High. He controls it all, and when we see these type of signs, they are not to be taken lightly. I think that they mark a certain time or a certain prophecy, or I know that most of the time they mark like feast days and coming signs of the times that we're in. So we should not be taking this lightly. I know after most solar eclipses and things like that, like they mark times. So right now we are in the fourth month of the biblical year. And for those who don't know, the sun and the moon helps us with the year, and it helps us to stay on track as to the 364 days that God has ordained in the heavenly tablets for us to follow. Not the Gregorian calendar and not the Julius calendar, none of those worldly calendars, but Yah has his own calendar for us, and it is with the sun and the moon. You have to use both, knowing that the Gregorian calendar only uses the sun, and then you got some calendars that only use the moon, but you have to use both to determine the feast days and the days of the year, the months, and it'll all fall in place. Nothing will be off track if you use these. So we had new moon on in the beginning of the year. We had new moon on March the 14th, and the reason why I say the 14th is because that is when we first see the first crescent of the new moon. So as far as new moon being on the 13th, that's when there's no light touching it. But the scripture says, as we see the first light touch the moon, that is considered the new moon as far as eye sighting. Okay, so that's for March. And then we have April. April's new moon started on the 12th. And, on the 11th, it was completely dark. And then on the 12th, that's when we saw the first crescent. It was at 1%. So that marks the first signing of the crescent moon. And that is the second month of the biblical calendar. And then we have May. And new moon in May started on the 11th. And we saw the first crescent on the 12th. And that marks the third month of the year. And then we have our June new moon, which actually started on the 10th. And that is very significant because that's the day that the Ring of Fire started, on the sun rising of June 10th, New Moon Day. Isn't that something? Now here I have the crescent on June 12th, which is today, and the moon is now 2 days old, but new moon started on June 10th, and that's when we seen the sighting of the Ring of Fire. Now, I wanted to jump to I read something back in Jubilees not too long ago, in Jubilees chapter 6, which is one of my favorite chapters in Jubilee because Yah is talking to Noah, and it has a account of covenants made with Noah from Yah. Okay. And they also include new moon days that we are supposed to observe. And I love this because this has been taken from us. This is the heritage that was taken from us. These are the things that we're supposed to be focused on as a people. And Yah had told Noah that the children of Israel are supposed to observe these days, and they mark specific points as far as the 364 a year that Yah has ordained for us. So let's start. Let me read this. And do thou command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all their generations, for a commandment unto them. One day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate the festival. For it is the Feast of Weeks and the Feast of First Fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraving concerning it. Celebrate it. Okay, so Yah had gave Noah this wisdom for the children of Israel to celebrate the Feast of Weeks during the third month, new moon of the third month, actually. If you read the very beginning of Jubilees 6, it'll tell you. And he gave Noah these ordained days of new moons. So Feast of First Fruits and Feast of Weeks is supposed to be celebrated on the first new moon of the third month once a year. Okay? So moving on, he said in 22, for I have written in the book of the first law in that which I have written for thee, that thou shouldest celebrate it in its season, one day in the year, and I explain to thee its sacrifices that the children of Israel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, one day in every year. Okay? So that's the Feast of Weeks. You're supposed to celebrate it the first new moon of the third month. And then it says, and on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month. The fourth month. You guys see that? And on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance. Okay? It's a little cut off, but that's okay. But we have 4 new moons here. 4 that Yah told us to observe. Okay? But we're going to focus on that 4th month real quick. All right? So moving on to the next part of the scriptures. Let's see here. And on the new moon of the first month he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. Okay? So that's why we're supposed to observe, and that's what we're supposed to observe in the new moon the first month, because Noah made the ark, and the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. Okay? And then on new moon I'm on 26, and on new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. Now, we're going to focus on this 26 here, because we are in the 4th month of the year, of the biblical year, okay? And we are supposed to observe these times. New moon of the 4th month, Yah said the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed, meaning that probation was closed for those who did not obey Yah's laws around the time of Noah. Okay? And Noah was sealed up with the animals and his family inside of the ark, while the rest of the world was basically drowning in the deluge. Why? Because they were disobedient to Yah. They were saying that there's no God and all types of stuff. And Yah closed the abysses so that the water could not recede into the ground so that the earth cannot swallow up the water. So Yah closed the abysses to deluge the earth, to raise the water up above the earth where it reached heaven. Okay? Where it reached the heavens, the first heavens, which is the sky that we look at every single day. So that is very significant because it's marking a specific time in our lives where we need to realize that Yah is giving us, Yah has given us more than enough time to get it right with Him. And every day we fall short, but if He see that you're trying to get closer to Him, He'll reveal stuff to you, and He will keep you out of harm's way, and He'll keep you from being destroyed with this earth. Okay, and but we just need to stay closer to Him in these last days. That's all, you know. And we want to be like our forefather Noah. We want to be righteous. We don't want to be unrighteous, you know. And we don't want to be caught up in the deluge, and we don't want to be caught up in the fires. So I just wanted to point that out. But I'll keep reading the rest. Okay, and 27, on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. Hallelujah. And on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts, see, for a memorial forever, and thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks. From one to another passed their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 250 weeks of days. Okay? So that be 250 weeks of days. That would be 364 days in the year. Okay? You guys can go read this. I have the app on my phone, but I have the King James version Apocrypha, with the Apocrypha. Okay? And you can read this for yourself. It's probably PDFs, on if you search up the books, it's PDFs that you can download of these books. To order these books they probably cost a lot, but they're worth it. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out to you guys, and I want you guys to use discernment on this, because a lot of people, you'll hear this world, bash, people that observe the new moon and stuff. Yah just said, don't worship them. Don't worship the sun. Don't worship the moon. He told us that. But he also gave us instruction on how to use the sun and the moon, just as he gave to our forefather Noah, So there's a big difference, huge difference. And when we see these things, because he make these things so untouchable. Like, they try to get to the moon, they try to get to the sun. Man try these things, but they're untouchable. They can't do it. Think about it. If they was to get up there and get to the moon and to the sun, they would destroyed it already, because they know that the sun and the moon's ordained for Yah's heavenly feast days, and also they make up the year. They help us to determine the years and find the correct path to the feast days. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out to you guys, and please go read these things for yourself, and ask God to guide you, and may you guys have blessings upon blessing upon blessing. And do not be afraid when you see these things. If you're a true believer in Yah, just rejoice, because it just means that he's one step closer to bringing us home. So I love you guys, and shalom and peace be unto you. And I will see you guys next time. Much love. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content. I love to teach you guys, so um, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button, so and the bell as well, so that you guys can get upcoming content. I'm going to try to upload more often. All right. Bye, you guys.